Good afternoon, and welcome to Straight Talking with Kelly, where real conversations happen. This is where you'll meet the most talented, intelligent, knowledgeable, and creative people who come to share tips, resources, and knowledge on various topics. Join me today and welcome my guest, Louis Armstrong III. He's a personal trainer and athletic coach, and he will talk about how to get in shape. So, welcome, Louis.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
All right. So before we get into our conversation, let me read a little bit about his bio, a little bit on his bio. So Louis Armstrong is a personal trainer and athletic coach. In 2012, he received his accredited certification from the International Sports Science Association. He landed his first job at Bally Total Fitness that same year. Over the years, he has worked at various institutions such as The Perfect Workout, Massage Envy, Skyline College, and 24-Hour Fitness. In 2019, he became self-employed and opened his LLC, Armstrong Training, where he teaches online training, in-home training, and outdoor training boot camps. He is also an assistant basketball coach for the men's basketball team at Cañada College. Yay! Quite impressive. So I can't wait to find out how we can
Yes.
get in shape. Because, normally we don't think about getting in shape until January, after
Yeah.
holidays. But then it's coming up too because the summer months, people are trying to get their body fit for getting ready for the beach or vacation and whatnot. So you'll be able to kind of give us some tips on that. So, Louis, tell me a little bit about your background. So, where were you born and raised, and what schools have you attended?
So I was born in San Francisco. I lived there until I was about 6 years old. Then I moved to the peninsula. And then I grew up in San Bruno, where I attended my elementary school, Portola, then eventually Pacific Heights, and still in San Bruno. And then I
Okay.
went to high school at Terra Nova. And that's kind of where a lot of the health and fitness and sports kind of took off because I played football there. And that kind of taught me how to work out. And then after high school, I went to Skyline College. And then that
Okay.
also played a huge role in my fitness.
Okay. So the schools had a lot to do with how you got into fitness.
A lot.
But what really made you decide, I want to be a personal trainer?
It's actually a funny story. I was working out from home in the backyard with my brother's weights, and I had a couple of employee or coworkers from Lowe's come over. All the same age, and we were
Okay.
working out. And I was like, "Hey, just do that way." And I was like, "Hey, and you do these," and I given all these tips and directions. And then they kept coming, like, "You should do this for money. You should get paid for this." I was like, maybe I could. And then that kind of made me think, well, maybe I could actually do this for a living. So then I started to pursue my education in it.
Okay. And what did the education entail? So what do they teach you like in a training program?
The first time I took a class was actually at Skyline College. It was called Intro to Personal Training. And I took that with a dear friend and coach now, Larry Fitzgerald. And basically, you're learning everything from anatomy, kinesiology, physiology, psychology. So all these different things with program design, nutrition, knowing the human body, how the human body moves, and a little bit of injury prevention and special population as well.
Okay, that makes sense because that was the first thing I'm thinking. I'm like, I know he has some anatomy up in here
Oh yeah.
because you got to know the body, and especially like you said, for injury, how to be able to take care of that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so now, not only are you the athletic trainer, but you also are a businessman as well.
Yes.
So you started your own business. You became an entrepreneur. So tell me about that and how that all plays into what you do.
Well, I think when I first became a trainer, I always knew eventually I would be independent and go off on my own because, the market when you work at a big box gym is not very good. You don't get paid very well. So I was like, in the future, I will be an independent trainer. But not only did I want to become an independent trainer, I had this vision of, like merchandise and online training and all these different aspects of training. Because I always felt like when it comes to fitness, there's so many different avenues you can travel down. So once I decided that, and then, like, the pandemic hit and we were all out of work, that
Hmm.
was kind of a trigger to get me going. But even before that, in 2019, I just woke up literally January 1st and I was like, I want to be my own boss. Like, I
Okay.
want to make this business a reality. And so I got online, I started researching all these different topics, LLCs, corporations, and then I just kind of took the steps and eventually got my LLC that same month
Wow.
and took off with Armstrong Training. I went down and got my DBA. And so it was like the ball was rolling, but it really didn't take off until 2020 when everything was shut down. And then I was like, okay, I really have to find a way to support myself. And that was the biggest draw. People who were out of the gym were coming to me like, are you still training? And I was like, well, I actually am because I have my business. So let's get this thing rolling. And that
Okay.
is
Nice.
online, outdoor, and everything else.
Okay. That's beautiful. So now talk to me about how does coaching balance and training, what is that all about? You could talk to me a little bit about um, the balance and training, coaching balance.
Mhm.
Am I
So
saying it right? I don't know if I'm saying it right.
like you like coaching sports and like training.
Well, I mean, it's like for you, it's like how does coaching balance with training?
It's very similar, I feel, because I mean, in training, you're usually working one on one with the person, and it's very, I don't know, I don't want to say like rah rah, but it's very specific to
Okay.
what that individual needs.
Mm-hmm.
For coaching, it's the same thing, except for it's not extremely tailored to one individual. It's more of a group, and it's more of a accountability and kind of, I don't know, encouragement, so to say,
Okay.
support
Okay.
versus, we're really focused on one individual aspect of training.
And so, and you get to do that because of the work that you do with Cañada College, the coaching.
Yeah. Oh, I love working with the younger people, and I like see a younger version of myself in some of them. So
Okay.
like giving back to them and helping them navigate through all these different things, and not only with their bodies but with their minds as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
them see like, oh, maybe you shouldn't, go this route. Let's talk about, different kind of things. Maybe you could do this a little differently. So I
Yeah.
really love that. And they look up to me because, I'm the personal trainer. I'm the guy
Yeah.
who's engaged. So they're like, oh, Coach Armstrong, I want to get like you. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's see how we could do it,
Yeah.
safely in a positive,
That's
safe environment.
yeah, that's great. And working with young folks definitely keep you young, let me tell you. I'm a testament of that. I've been working with them for a long time. So
Yes.
now, what is the best way to get fit for a person with a sedentary life? The folks that spend 6 or more hours sitting in a chair or lying down. How do you get them motivated to physical movement? What do you do? What are some of the things that you say or do?
Well, when it comes to that, like in a consultation or sit down, the first thing is getting to the root of the problem, because it's easy to be like, I just want to get in shape. But like, there's definitely something deeper there. So once we kind of investigate a little further, and like, okay, you want to get in shape because of your kids, like, there's something that's really important to someone. Like, I want to be able to play with my children, 10 years from now. I don't want to be on medication or in the hospital. So
Mm,
then it becomes really involved and deeper. So they want to get to this goal. And that starts with something so small. I always keep it so small. Like, we're not going to go out and, do all these, burpees and run and, join the gym. Like, I want something. So like, let's start with walking, because
okay.
that, and a story that actually relates to that is Auntie Mary, when she first started getting back into fitness, I was like, we're just going to go for walks. And we just went for walks. And, we didn't have to make anything big. And walks turned into some squats, and squats turned into moving a little bit of weight, and weight turned into this feels good. Let me change my diet. And that, so it's this whole snowball effect, but starting small is the
Yes.
best advice I can give anyone, because if you try to go out and make all these huge changes and you get really sore, things don't go your way after a week, it's really easy to get discouraged and be like, I don't want to do this. It's too much, or it's just hard.
And that just makes me think about, again, like I had mentioned earlier, in the new year, January, when people are getting ready um to get rid of all of their
Yes.
holiday treats. Do you think that the commercials and stuff are kind of rushing them into it, and then that's why the momentum doesn't last?
I totally believe it is. And everyone wants that quote, new year, new me. And
Yeah.
so they're going full steam ahead, and they're, making all these big plans and setting these really unrealistic goals that they think they're going
Yeah.
to get. Like, by the time the summer hits, I'll be this, this, and this, and I'm just going to go really hard in January and get rid of all this. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
that's what you don't want to do. Like, you don't
Yeah.
want to go into it thinking that. You want to go into it thinking, okay, let me just take step one and just start going. Let me just
Yeah.
start getting up and moving. And
Hmm.
then once that becomes a habit, then you
Yeah.
can start talking about goal setting and making things, long term. But it's really the short term that you have to focus on.
And so that's the same advice that you would give all of us that is looking for the summer that's happening right now, because we're in May,
We're in May.
approaching May and getting ready for the summer months.
Hmm.
So I think let's talk about how important healthy eating is
That's
is is a part of staying fit.
huge. Eating is huge. So if we're talking about getting ready for the summer, and everyone wants to think about exercise, exercise, exercise. Even if you weren't someone who was really enthusiastic about exercise, if you just change your diet, and I'm not talking drastic, you don't have to become vegan or keto or all these other fad diets. If you just make small changes, cut back on some sugar, maybe substitute a few things, that will go a lot further than trying to continue to eat the way you are and just really go after exercise as hard as you can. So it's small things. The biggest thing I think that affects everyone's diet is sugar.
Yeah.
That is like the culprit that
Yeah.
holds on to that body fat and those insulin spikes. But it tastes good. And, we all love to indulge a little bit. So if you can eliminate a little bit of sugar from the diet, and I don't mean like, get rid of all of it, because
Yeah.
that's extreme, but just a little change here and there will go a long way.
Well, and you know what? The simple fact that you said don't try to get rid of all of it, it's impossible almost, because
Yeah,
sugar is in everything.
everything.
Like when we eat pasta, it turns into sugar. When you eat
Mm,
bread, so all of that, so it's like, how do I cut down? So, like, if you know that you're a candy eater, because I know I love chocolate,
mm,
so I eat dark chocolate and I still eat it, but I monitor how much of it I eat. And then
yes.
I'm also monitoring how much other stuff that I know that have sugar in it, breads and pasta and all of the other stuff. So it really is important to, when you say cut out the sugar, you really do. And especially if you're diabetes, pre-diabetes, you have to
Yes.
really, take it a little bit more serious than the person that doesn't have those kinds of things, right?
Hmm. And I'll take it a step further, because I know a lot of people, especially who start fitness, they hear the word cheat meal, cheat
Mm.
day. And so, what I tell people who are getting in shape, I tell my clients, I'm like, okay, if you have that craving and it's really extreme, use that as your fuel. So if you're going to have that meal, do that before your walk. Do that before you go to the gym. Don't do it at night. Don't do it
When
on the
you're laying
day where
down,
you're
huh?
off from work. It's like, I deserve this. It's the weekend. I'm just gonna indulge. Like, don't do it
Yeah,
then. Do it
yeah.
before you're about to do something active, so you can use that as energy.
That's a good point. I need to keep that one in mind too, that I will actually have the goodies and then go lay down. Because it actually makes you tired.
It does make you
It
tired.
it makes you tired. You get that overload of sugar, and the first thing you want to do is go lay down, you know.
Hmm.
So how important is drinking water?
Oh, I underestimated the value of water probably until the last couple of years because
Okay.
you really feel the difference when you're dehydrated, like fatigue, um, brain fog. Like you just feel lethargic. But when you're fully hydrated, and I don't say there's a certain amount of water. I know the old saying was 8 glasses of water a day, but there's no right number. It all depends on your body type, how much you
Yeah.
sweat, how much food you consume. But I would suggest that everyone would drink at least, 2 quarts or half a gallon of water a day. I know that sounds like a lot, but most of our body is made up of water. So we do need to really hydrate. And most of the population is actually dehydrated.
Absolutely. And you know what I learned is that half the time when we think we're hungry, we're actually dehydrated. We need the water.
That's correct. Yeah, one of my
So that,
professors taught me that.
yeah, so it's really key to know that. So I walk around the house. I drink a lot of water. I do drink a lot of water. So now, what are some of the signs, other signs of persons that need to move? Um, I know people that have constant fatigue, stiff joints, forgetfulness, the weight gain. What do you say to people? And then tell me too, and I know this is like I'm going too much, but my head is just spinning right now because I'm excited about all of this. Supplements, the vitamins. Do you recommend that or how does that work?
Hmm. Well, that's a sticky subject. Supplements. We'll get to that. But another thing to pain, people who are in pain, constant pain,
Okay.
exercise can really benefit for them. It will help alleviate some of that. Being stronger actually does help relieve some of your pain. I've had clients with back pain. It was extreme. And once we started strengthening their back, they were able to do some of the things they couldn't do once before. But when we're talking about supplements, it's really hard because there are so many supplements out there.
Yes,
A lot of
indeed.
them are not regulated. I mean, you can go
Yes.
online and make your own supplement right now from a number of websites and just slap a label on there and say, I have a new vitamin.
Yeah.
So when I tell people when they're selecting supplements, there's a couple things to look for. I actually have a supplement right here that is an example. There
Okay.
is the seal right here that says USP Labs.
Yes.
So you want to find supplements that are third party tested because the more third party tested companies on the bottle, the better off your chances are of what's in the supplement is actually in the supplement. Because if it says
Yeah.
proprietary blend, do not buy it. Chances
Yeah.
are there's like 1 gram of whatever it is, or 1 milligram, and it's like sugar or something else inside that supplement. Now, as far as vitamins go, I normally don't suggest my clients to take vitamins. I always tell them to check with their doctor first, see if they're actually deficient in anything. They might need more vitamin D, they might need more vitamin B. But when it comes to multivitamins, I don't suggest them because I think we can get most of that through our diet,
To your food. Yes, absolutely.
just by eating a little bit
Absolutely.
more fruits and vegetables, different grains. But if you must, or if you feel inclined to take a multivitamin, I would suggest taking one that is made of whole foods and not one that is synthetic. Like one a day would be an example of a synthetic vitamin, and Mankind from Garden of Life would be something that would be whole foods and organic.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is very tricky. And I think that is something, the supplements is something that you definitely probably should talk with your doctor about or do
Mhm.
your own research. I think it's important,
Yeah,
because you're the one ingesting this stuff. So you need to know as much about how this thing, and then you know how everything has organic on it, and everything is just because it says that doesn't
that's
mean that it's organic.
no.
So people need to learn how to discern what's right and what isn't. So, you've got to do your homework as well, right?
Yeah, reading labels is the food industry. I won't even go there because reading labels is hard enough when you see low fat or zero this, and low calorie that. There's always a catch. If it's got one thing taken out of it, there's probably something else put in. If
Put
it's
in
got
there.
no
Yeah.
sugar, there's probably a lot of sodium. If there's no sodium, then there's probably some sugar. So there's these catchy titles that throw us healthy or low fat or organic. You really have to kind
Gluten
of
free is another one.
gluten free. Yeah. Look
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
back of your label and
Yeah.
actually see what the ingredients are, and that will tell you more than the front.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, a lot of my girlfriends are telling me about these different apps right now, and I think one is called Yuka,
Yeah, that's very
Yuka,
popular one. Yeah.
where you can actually download the app, and then when you're in the grocery store, you can, scan it next
Yeah.
to a particular item, and then it'll let you know how it rates, 61 out of 100. So is that good or bad? I don't know. And then
Yeah.
it'll let you know what other kind of additives and stuff that it has. So it's a key thing to do. But I was just telling her, I said, you can get kind of carried away with all of this stuff. So, you don't want to be on the extreme, but you don't want to be, not do anything.
Yeah.
You just really have to find a place that's comfortable for you.
Mhm.
Now, so what are some of the simple exercises that a person that's been, because you can sit in a chair and do some
Oh,
things,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. And so, like, give me a couple of little bitty things because I'm thinking about my audience. Maybe somebody needs to hear, other than the walking, that's very simple. What can
Mhm.
they do at home? Because I know they're not going to be doing push ups or sit ups. But
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you do? I have an exercise bike, thanks to Auntie Charlene. I copied off of her and when he got the exercise bike.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, and that helps. But like what kind of chair exercises can a person do? Or maybe they should get out the chair, right?
Well, I mean, well, you
You
hit it
stand
right
up,
on the.
do me a favor, stand up and do like some side stretches or something that
You
seems
you
kind of
actually
simple.
you actually hit it right on the nose, because the one thing you can do is stand up and sit back down, because that
Oh, okay.
squat right there is
Yeah,
for
okay.
all ages. It doesn't matter if you're 30 or 76. You can
Okay.
do a squat. So this is great for the legs. And when you sit down in a chair, it forces you to use good form, pushing your hips back, which a lot of people, when they do squats, they don't have good form because they don't have anything to really, you know, reach back for. They're just going down and their knees are going forward. They start to feel some pain and like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
want to, I don't want to do
Yeah.
this anymore.
So
But
just
just stand
even
up.
doing like that, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's simple enough. Even from the chair, if you just lift your knee up and down, you can get some quad activation. But at
Ah,
the same time, you can
yeah.
work your core. So just
Okay.
holding for a few seconds, I can already feel my quad kind of kicking into gear, and then
Oh, I'm doing
squeeze
that right
real
now
tight.
too. You can feel that right
Yeah,
away.
yeah. Now imagine doing that with a straight leg. That becomes even harder. So there's
Yeah.
different ways to definitely. And then, of course, if you're feeling a little tight, you can go over this side. We can do different stretches. A great one for the chair, especially for the lower back. For some people who can't sit on the floor and do the whole right over left, you can just grab the side of your chair and do a little twist like
A
this.
twist, yes.
Felt my back feel a little pop, felt a little relief. And there's
And not only does that help for, popping your back, but it's also for your what do you call
core.
this? Well, for your core, but it also helps you to eliminate when you go to the bathroom. It that stretching to the side like that, doing
Mhm.
the side twist. It's really good for that. Because I know in yoga we do that quite often.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And it's a really good side twist. I'm not saying the right word that I'm supposed to be saying for that, but
But there's so many things you can do in a chair. I have a lot of clients, especially when I went independent, that were 70 and up. So
okay.
just getting them to move. There's different things you can do in the chair, with like just holding weights in the chair. If you just have some 2 pound
Ah,
dumbbells and you're just sitting here watching TV, and you're just going
Yes.
until that commercial, like seeing how many you can go. You can do lateral raises, get the shoulders involved
Yeah. Okay.
on the front. I mean, there's so much you can do. You can even, if you really want to try your legs out, you can just kind of sit right above the chair and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of that horse stance and see how long you
Okay.
can hold that. So a lot of isometric stuff as well as just movement.
And then what about holding the back of the chair?
Oh, there's even more you can do if you go to the back of the chair
Uh-huh.
around. I mean, we can now work the glutes. We can go
Okay.
back. We got
Oh
lateral
yeah.
raises. We got
Yeah.
different things. We can do knee raises. We can get some stretches going in here with the hip.
Okay. Oh
We
wow.
can get a child pose going with the chair, with the back. There's a lot you can
See,
do.
and you know what? And what I like what you said is that you're doing this while you're watching television. So time the commercial because the commercial is usually like 2 5 minutes. So
Yeah,
those little 5 minute spurts. And then what happens? Because one of the things that I know, exercise start feeling really good.
yeah,
And once you get started, you want to keep doing it.
yeah. Now let's not forget for those of you who are not watching commercials because most people are streaming, so there's not a lot of
Okay.
you're watching Netflix all day, binge watching. You can take that pause between your episodes to get up and loosen up. Like, all right, after episode 2, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do at least 5 minutes of moving around, and then go ahead and back to your thing. But you don't need a lot of space. You don't need a lot of equipment. You don't need a lot to get started or stay moving. Or even if that's just your routine, you can keep it as simple as you want and you will still get some benefits out of it.
So now tell me this, what is a healthy amount of time? I know for me, for most days, I start off at least with 30 minutes worth of exercise.
Mhm.
So the goal is to get at least 90 minutes before the end of the week. So what do you recommend? And again, I guess it depends on the person's body and, if there's any injury or whatever. But I guess even like 15 minutes a day is good if you've been sedentary. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yes. I mean, like you said, it depends on if you have injuries, what your health condition is, but anything is better than nothing. So
Yeah.
slow gains are better than no gains. So if you're doing just planks in the morning or squats in the morning, just something to get your body going. At least 15 minutes would be great, 30 minutes would be even better, 45 would be gold standard, but just getting your body moving. Like I tell some clients who don't have a gym membership, they don't want to really work out. I'm like, if you can just walk around the block for five
Hmm.
minutes, that's better than sitting all day doing nothing. So just
Yeah.
do something to get moving.
You're gonna make me go walk the block after we finish
If you
because
got
it's
some
nice
hills,
outside.
even better.
Yeah, it's true. I do have the hills. It's wonderful. So now, Lois, talk to me about the different ways you work with your clients because you teach online, you do in-home, and then plus you have boot camp. So how, if, say, for example, if I wanted to do online, what does that entail? So I'm sure you do the assessment first with your client to find out,
Oh
what
yeah.
their needs are and stuff like that. And then you set up a regiment, a weekly time or something with them?
Yeah. So assessment's always first because I can't just give someone a workout if I don't know anything about their body.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's always something to look for with a trainer. But once we establish that, and then we talk about what kind of goals they want to get into, and we'll make short term goals, long term goals, and then we'll start what I call a skeleton. So basically, the outline of what you want your week to look like, because
Hmm.
that's very important that you know what days you're going to rest and be realistic about them. Like if it's going to be 3 days of rest, 2 days of rest, 4 days of rest, but that needs to be established early that you're going to get yourself some rest days. You're not just going to work out 5, 6 days a week. Then once that's established, then I'll make a workout program that is tailored to their schedule. So some people might be working out 20 minutes a day and they're doing it on their lunch break while they're at work. So I'm like, okay, let me make a short workout that's high energy and that's what they want. Or maybe someone is just getting into it and they don't want something too, taxing on their body. So I was like, okay, we'll do a 30-minute workout, but this is going to be a
Okay.
lot slower. It won't be as long, but it will still give you the benefit. So I'll make those workouts tailored to their body, their schedule. Now I do workout programming where I just make the workout, they do it, and then we have a phone conversation sometime in the week to check in, see what's working,
Okay.
what's not working, how their body's reacting to the exercise, how their diet's going, and things like that. But I also Zoom, like we're doing right now, with the client, and I watch them work out
Oh,
and
okay.
give them pointers. And like, I was like, okay, your arm looks a little off. Let's move it inside, or no, change that weight. That looks a little too heavy for you. You need to breathe while you're, going down. Exhale as you're coming up. All those little cues and things, and encouragement and motivation as they're working out. So it's like I'm there, but I'm not there.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And as you said that, I was just thinking of a person doing the squat and not doing it properly. You're able
Like,
to kind
pull
of
your
guide
shoulders
them.
back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Breathing, big one when I have
Very.
Zoom and to hold their breath. I'm like, breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. Tiffany's constantly telling me to breathe
Yes.
because there are times I didn't even know that I wasn't breathing. And it's like, oh my goodness, that's kind of scary.
You gotta breathe.
So now what is the in-home? So in-home, is it like physically like
In
in the
home,
home?
I'll physically drive to the person's house. I have a few clients like that, and they
Okay.
also get the same benefits of pretty much both clients online. So
Okay.
they get the workout program for the whole week. They have everything set up and scheduled, because I won't see them every day unless they want me to, come to their house 3 times a week. But sometimes it's just I want to see you 1 time a week so I can get the ball rolling, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll work out the other days on my own. But I'll go there. Sometimes I'll bring equipment if they don't have it, but if they already have it, then we'll work with what they have. We'll do a 50-minute workout based on warm up, exercise, and then post exercise stretching. And so usually it does take, maybe it goes, to an hour sometimes because we got a schedule, but it's very tailored to that individual. And if they can't make it, because there's a lot of business people who are on vacation and they feel like, oh, I have this in-home training, but I'm not home, then I also give them the option to go on to Zoom, and then
Okay, to
they
go
Zoom
online. Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so the in-home has like everything.
That's nice. That's nice to have all those different options. So then what is boot camp?
Boot camp is usually during the warmer months, and that my first one is coming soon in June. And that's going to be outdoor, the number doesn't matter. It could be 5 people, it could be 25 people.
Okay.
Just outdoor activity. There's different exercises. It's kind of like circuits that people will go through. And the thing I like about that is more community based. So you have,
Hmm.
you get to meet new people. You got support from other members, and you get to cheer each other on. And that's a really huge support system, especially if you're just starting. You
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like you don't want to do this alone. Well, now you can bring a friend, or maybe bring 4 friends, and you can
Yeah.
all do it
Yeah.
together. So
Yeah. That's nice. Wow. So like I said, you got me all excited and ready to go work out.
so many
That's
options.
that's pretty cool. So now we're getting ready to segue out of this a little bit and talk about something completely different.
Okay.
But, and then we'll circle back because I want you'll be able to give your last words to the audience. But I would like for you to name 3 people that have inspired you.
3 people that have inspired me. Well, first person I have to give pretty much almost all the credit to when it comes to working out would be my dad. He definitely inspired me because he gave me my first pair of dumbbells when I was like 14 years old. And
Oh,
I
nice.
remember watching him in the living room do a one-handed push-up at 50 years old. And I was just like, I'm gonna do that too. Like, is
Yeah,
I
nice.
wanted to be strong and I wanted to get in shape because I was like, my dad is. He's a ex or Marine, and once a Marine, always a Marine. But he was just like in shape, and I watched him do curls with the dumbbells, like, and that motivated me to want to get that way for myself. And the second person would definitely be my brother, because without him, I wouldn't have had been outside working out at all. I mean, I used
Okay.
to go outside and see him working out, and he'd be like, "You want to join me?" I'm like, yeah. And then he tried to motivate me and encourage me, and he's the one who got me, really good at playing sports, because he would take me to the schoolyard, we play
Oh,
basketball,
nice.
football, and work out. And he's always pushing me to, be better and better. So he was definitely a huge influence in all of my fitness. Like laid the groundwork for me being an athlete pretty much. So
Beautiful.
um, that's two. The third person I would definitely have to say would be my coach from Skyline College, Coach Pierre Grassi. I was the first one of the first classes I ever took when I was at Skyline was intro to weightlifting, and
Oh, okay. Wow.
learned so much in that class from him. And he was also someone who encouraged me to continue learning, continue getting your education, and
Nice.
always very supportive. And I took his class maybe 3 more times just so I could
Okay.
work out and weightlift. And, I
Yeah.
felt really good in there. And he was always really positive. And he actually gave me the first coaching job at Skyline College as his assistant, just
Oh,
because I
wow.
reached out to him and I said, "Thank you for all the support." Just an email. And then he's like, "Let's do lunch." We did lunch. He's like, "What are you doing this summer?" He was like, "Come on over." And I was like, wow. So
Wow. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
That's
that
beautiful.
that
Is he still
started me
with
off.
us? Is he still here?
Yeah, yeah, he's still coaching at Skyline College.
Okay.
We will be playing a memorial game versus them. It's a dedication to one of the players that passed away. Meet we all go to the memorial game every year, and that's a big thing. So
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
he's a big part of my coaching family. So
Okay. That's beautiful. That is
yeah.
beautiful. So now, Lewis, tell me, what would the 9-year-old Lewis say to the grown man Lewis now?
What would the 9-year-old Lewis say to the grown man Lewis? Um, I want to be like you. I don't know. um, what I would say to him would be more than what he would say to me. But what he would say to me, I don't know. I think he would be. I think he'd be proud. I think he'd be happy. Like, wow, like you've come a long way from here to
Beautiful.
now.
Beautiful. So, Lewis, as we begin to close the show, remind the audience how they can reach you to learn more about your athletic training and coaching programs.
The best way to reach me would be on my website at armstrongtrainingpt.com. And you can also reach me at my Instagram, Armstrong Training PT. And if you want to, watch what I do on a daily basis and how I eat and everything else, you can also follow me on my personal Instagram at excuse me, LJ Armstrong underscore the third, 3 eyes.
Oh, that's nice. Very nice. Well, Lewis, thank you so much for taking out the time to be on Straight Talking with Kelly, where real conversations happen. It has been such a pleasure. Like I said, as soon as I hang up, I'm going to exercise. I'm going to go
Thank you
take a
for
walk because it's beautiful. So I want to thank you for that.
Oh no, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's been a blast. It's been fun, like, bringing up all these memories and talking about exercise. I'm excited to go train once some more. Like,
Exactly.
I get
So
so
hopefully
excited.
we'll get the
I love it.
audience already all revved up to go out and
Yeah,
do something. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. So
yes.
thank you again. And to my listening audience, I would like to thank you for joining us. Please find me on my YouTube channel, Straight Talking with Kelly. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. And see you soon.